I had lived in California for my whole life, and then after high school, I actually did a year abroad in Germany. And I loved my time there, loved being able to see just, bigger world like that. So when I came back home, I thought that, no, this is the same town that I'd been living in. I can't do that anymore. So I wanted to see something else that was big and grand, and New York's the biggest and grandest place in the US, so that's how I found my way here. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. And if you want, the simplest way to boil it down is essentially computerized map making. And so we take certain data sets that we get from a variety of sources, of official federal sites or NGOs or things like that, and we assign them to these maps that we make in the computer, and it helps us display the data visually. One of the things that I really liked about GIS was, in contrast to a lot of the other things that you learn in geography and global studies, a lot of that other stuff is theoretical, it's very conceptual, whereas GIS is an actual skill. It teaches you tools that you can use on the computer to perform a wide variety of tasks. And so it's very, very important to, I think, that we have these skills and these tools that we can actually use that in the real world. It's not just knowledge, it's not just these concepts that you've read, it's things that you can actually do, and you can manipulate data and display it however you need to, and I think that's an invaluable skill, and that's what attracted me first. There are a lot of terms that people know, like, most people have heard of GPS, but not necessarily GIS, and so there are these slight differences, what all these programs do. Like GPS would not be possible without GIS. GIS is simply the overarching term for any kind of computerized programs that help you determine location, answer your spatial questions, all that kind of stuff. So GPS is certainly derived from that, of the location on the ground, how it aligns that position with satellites above. That all comes from GIS, and anyone who has studied GIS knows how GPS works and can apply it to whatever field they need, and countless others. The reason I am so interested in these two majors and why I think they're so important is because they are describing a world that we are currently living in. It's not history, it's not something that's in the past, but the world is currently evolving, and global studies and geography are attempting to still describe that and analyze it. So it's very, very relevant. It's very topical, and every day I learn something new, and I think, oh, I just read about this last week. This is ongoing. It's very easy to see the implications of what we're learning. It's not, you don't learn something and say, when am I ever going to use this? No, I see it in the newspaper. And that's exactly what we're attempting to tackle in global studies and geography, these very current topics. And that's what I think is extremely important.